Hi Pisces, here's a general look at your solar chart for March 2012, and may I wish you a happy birthday. Now, every month at this time, the sun comes into your sign, where it was when you were born, unless you were born in the month before February. But so that means it's a powerful month for you, with the sun in your sign. It's going to be there until the 20th. And in general, it means that the path before you should clear, relatively speaking, enough for you to do something for yourself personally, or get proactive with a personal interest or pursuit or some sort of goal you're after chasing at this time, but not be too sweating the small stuff, but really it is a time when you could be doing nice things for yourself and be a bit self-indulgent, because if ever there was a time of the year to do it, it's now. So now you like to have your mental focus and be discussing and speculating anything to do with stuff. Material world. This is the material world, so it's going to be about basic stuff, practical resources, money, property, equipment, any assets or incomings, outgoings, and your mind will have that will have your attention, and your attention will be upon the material aspects, but also perhaps the physical aspects of life at the moment as well, your physicality or somebody else's physicality. So a socializing sort of environment may be centered around where you're making money, or a money making environment, and an environment which is underpinning you in some way materially, with security, or materially in another kind of a way, or in fact is an environment where you're learning how to make better use, I should say, of an inborn gift that you have, or you're applying a skill and you're adding to that. Mercury turns retrograde on the 12th for 3 weeks, which you may or may not know tends to slow down the action of Mercury, so that might mean things get snarled up and stuck in the pipeline on these basic levels, to do with money, to do with property perhaps, and may have you having to get another bit of paper or whatever it is, or reorganize the playlist in some way, so that things fiscal or physical run more smoothly, which they should start to do in April, when Mercury goes direct again. And then Mercury retrogrades back into your sign. It comes back into your sign, Pisces, on the 24th, and that means that you're likely to things accelerate. You get busier in your head, perhaps feeling mentally sharper, more on the alert, more on the go, maybe flitting hither and thither more. A good time to be developing your communication skills, your people skills, your creative self-expression, because then you do better out of where the emphasis of the energies are going to be at that time. But as is the way with Mercury, you might feel a bit pushed, a bit scattered, a bit nervy, and having to juggle things. So do what you can to still your mind. Again, likely to continue to be a very sociable time, with more comings and goings, and you could find that certain company is could be lucrative, or at least opens the way to other types of resources for you, or gives you knowledge which is very practical and useful, but you can turn that around and say that your knowledge, your skill that you're giving to somebody else can be very practical and useful for them. Interactions of all kinds are emphasized, and actually somebody could take a shine to you, which gives your ego a boost. And now with Venus, the planet of flow, in the area which rules your piggy bank until the 5th, that's good news, and you'll do well if you play your cards right, and even better if you know how to manifest what you want. And I say that because the flow that Venus brings to that sector, which will have been over the back end of February as well, if you're listening to this in February, Venus tends to elicit or facilitate, shall I say, flow, which goes in both directions. So you just make sure you're not putting your hand into your pocket more than usual, because the flow of Venus here, can just as well, if you're manifesting what you want, be having a lot of goodies coming towards you. Venus's tendency here anyway will tend to ease things on a material level, even if that isn't about money, even if it is about just other types of resources. So like I say, just make sure this stream is coming in your direction and not the other way around as much as ever we can. Also, you could find that certain contacts are enabling you in some way, which leads to financial success or financial improvement, or at least eases things financially, and so that could definitely be a female influence, and also a female influence could open new doors for you on that material level and help you out. And now this is your birthday month, and therefore a very good moment to be doing nice things for yourself. So you should be treating yourself. This is the time, or this is one of the times. You should be allowing others to treat you as well, because you're a water sign, and water signs sometimes aren't very good at actually receiving help. You're very good at giving it and being sensitive to somebody else's need, but just sit back and do them the honor of allowing them to bring to you their healing, their love, and whatever it is, in the little packet, which is covered in pretty wrapping paper. I mean, just allow that, because with Venus where she's going to be, in fact all month really, it's a good time, particularly in the early part though, for acquiring basic stuff and improving things for you on those materialistic, physical as well levels. And also there's a good time for buying and selling, and you might get yourself a very good deal. And then from the 5th, it's more likely you'll just be hearing things you like, maybe having more access to entertainment, or for the arty Pisceans out there, an excellent time from the 5th until the end of the month to be getting on with anything which is creatively expressing you, in which you can creatively express yourself. But also you might be hearing compliments and nice, good feedback at this time. And this is the time to be listening to feedback, because, rather than thinking, oh, I'm only going to hear the same thing, you might hear something that actually makes you smile. You never know. And then also a great time for buying and selling again, or anything promotional, excellent for that. And also, if you've got to promote yourself, then you can be very persuasive, or you can be very persuasive with any kind of promotions really. And as I say, there can be more access to entertaining activities, musical activities, dance, the arts generally. Now about Mars is going to be activating your area of close relationships for several months to come. It's already been doing that since November. So you and someone can really do business together, whether that is in a business sense or in maybe a close love relationship, or in other kinds of friendship type relationships. But they're very dynamic. They're likely to be very dynamic, and sometimes they do get a little bit sort of hot and bothered at times, because Mars is such a feisty, hot energy, and Mars can be very argumentative, and Mars can actually steamroller over others. So just be careful, Pisces, because you might not realize it, and you might come on a little bit too strong. Once you harness that Mars energy, you can do very well, and you and somebody can be very productive, very successful if you team up, and then build an empire, if you like, because you could, and you and someone though do need to sit down and have a powwow together as well. And one of the things about Mars is it likes to have its head, it likes to be out in front and initiate, it likes to lead from the front. But your teammate might not be having this Mars transit, and Mars might be somewhere else. So just don't stubbornly insist on your own way, and learn to listen a bit better. Just take more care about that. Having said that, you working one-to-one, using your wonderful Piscean talents, your healing talents, your artistic talents, you have, there's many other ways that your Pisceanness can come out. Of course, your sensitivity and your ability to use your third eye, which your ruling sign, your ruling planet rules the third eye. All of that can be, that compassionate side of you can really be coming out strongly, particularly now that Neptune has crept back into your sign, its home sign. So just as I say, be careful about coming on a little bit too strong. Now, this month, Mars is retrograde, and it will be retrograde until mid-April, and this can result in you feeling that things are going too slowly, you're impatient, you can be frustrated about something, whether it's professional collaboration or personal relationship. But team efforts can begin to show positive growth from April, I think. So there may be a need, anyway, to soften your tone, to sort of sit back, sleep on decisions before you go roaring off in whatever direction, and definitely confer with someone before you do. Another way this can work is it can bring somebody very special into your life, and boy, do you hit it off and you really click, and you do feel a rapport, and this can be quite a strong, sizzly love relationship. But once again, don't be hasty, because Mars again tends to say, oh, throw caution to the wind, and off we go into the sunset, and actually it might just be a false start if you've actually been too hasty. Now, from the 20th, your stuff or their stuff will be highlighted, so a bit more of the same, really. The new moon on the 22nd is going to be in Aries and conjunct Mercury and Uranus. And that means that something surprising can be happening related to that very material physical area that I was speaking about earlier. It might be some way where you've got to really think laterally to make it sort of make sense to you, and you see what you have to, what you can do about it. It might be a very small thing, like a small bit of kit, or it might be something bigger. I can't know that from here, not without seeing the natal chart, and then even then it's not, it's not absolutely certain if you can give somebody chapter and verse on exactly what's going to happen, because that's what we're here for, isn't it? I mean, it's like reading the last page of the novel before we've actually lived through the first part of it. What I've been speaking about here is the faster moving inner planets, but also they are set against the background of the slower moving outer planets, and if you want to see what they're doing to get the other half of this reading, then you can go to my website and read it for your sign for this month, and it'll tell you what they're up to this month. And also you might like to go and find the reading for March for your your moon sign or your rising sign, and then that might give you another angle on what I've said here. It'll add to or subtract from what I've said here. And I hope this helps, and I'll see you the next time.